Hello, and welcome to the HorrorVale Act 2 progress video. This is a video meant to go over all the progress that's been made in HorrorVale since the Act 1 demo released in 2019 up until the completion of Act 2 in October of 2020. For those unaware, we actually regularly post development updates on our Twitter, Discord, and Patreon. However, we understand that not everyone has accounts on these platforms or likes to read every single thing we put out like a mad person. You may be someone who recently finished the Act 1 demo and then wondered, how has the game progressed since they released this? Or, when is the full game going to come out? This video is targeted towards those types of people. Of course, even if you stay consistently updated on the game's progress to know most of this, you might find it entertaining anyway. This type of content is actually the first of its kind, so I'm curious to see if the community likes it. So, let's talk about Act 2. After the release of the Act 1 demo in June 2019, work immediately began on Act 2. Before this, development on the game had been very slow and on and off. It was essentially just a fun thing to work on in our free time. But after the release of the demo, development really started to take off. Going into Act 2, a tremendous challenge was presented to us. It could be said that Act 1 is more or less a taste of the game, but Act 2 is where the game really begins. Not only are several new mechanics introduced here, but Act 2 features 12 optional party members compared to the only 2 you can find in Act 1. This means that in order to complete Act 2, we not only had to create all of the main story areas and enemies, but also optional quests and unique areas for every single optional party member that can be obtained here. This means 12 party members, each with their own unique movesets, stats, and graphics, but also 12 side quests. Many of which take you to entirely new areas that you either couldn't get to before or haven't been to at all yet. We wanted every side quest to feel unique in some way rather than just reuse the same areas as the main story, so some of these side quests even feature their own mini dungeons, music, and enemies. Because of this, we had our work cut out for us. Not to mention, Act 2 also features many different locales and mini dungeons even as part of its main story. Right now, Act 2 features the most unique areas and the most music in the entire game. We worked on Act 2 from June of 2019 to October of 2020. That's nearly a year and a half of work. Not to mention, work on Act 2 technically still persists to this very day, as we occasionally go back and tweak things or add things as necessary to make it the best it can be. If you're someone who recently completed the Act 1 demo, you might be asking, well, when can I play it then? Why isn't Act 2 out? Despite what you may initially assume, HorrorVale is actually not an episodic game. This is a bit of our fault for naming the demo Act 1, but we only did so because the demo contains the entire first act. HorrorVale will be released as a full, complete game once all acts are complete. Back to Act 2. Going from a rather simple Act 1 to the extremely large by comparison Act 2 not only resulted in what may have otherwise been a much shorter development cycle, but also taught us many valuable lessons about game design, writing, and ways to streamline the entire process to make future endeavors be completed faster. Another thing you might be wondering about is the amount of party members. HorrorVale, when complete, will feature 31 party members, not counting Alice, of course. All of these will have their own quests and moves and uses. In addition, all party members scale to Alice's level when you recruit them and continue to gain XP even when not in the active party or dead. This means you're free to mix and match party combinations as much as you want without needing to worry about grinding levels for party members you haven't used much. I personally think one of my favorite aspects of HorrorVale is collecting all of these characters. Even if you don't really use all of them, it's pretty fun to meet them, see where their quest leads, and see what kind of abilities they have in store. I hope you'll enjoy collecting them too. Of course, you can completely ignore these side quests and complete the game only with the default characters that the game gives you, but you'll miss out on half of the content by doing so. One of the things added during the development of Act 2 is the character Leila. Leila is a lich who comes from the far northern continent of Niflheim. Leila excels at a weirdly meta magic known as switch magic. When you recruit a new character but already have 4 party members, this new character will be automatically sent to Leila's pocket dimension for safekeeping. If you see Leila around, you can speak with her to rearrange your party and add and remove characters. You can even remove everyone but Alice and try playing the game solo if you're crazy. As you recruit more and more characters, you'll see Leila's menu expand larger and larger. Another thing added as a part of Act 2 is farming. If you come across Barnaby's farm in Act 2 and help him with his quest, not only will he join your party, but also give you access to his farm to plant and grow crops. After buying seeds from the nearby Zhang, you can plant them in his field, water them, and then come back later to find fresh plants ready to be harvested. These can be sold if you need to make some extra candy, but most importantly, these are used for brewing potions. I'll go into this mechanic more later. The last major mechanic added during development of Act 2 is fast travel. Early on in Act 2, you'll find a crashed pirate ship in the woods with a nearby pirate girl named Sadie. If you help her out on her quest to repair her ship, she'll let you use it to fly around the world of HorrorVale with ease. Scattered throughout HorrorVale are these ghostly bells. Ring one and Sadie's ship will come flying down to whisk you away to the world map. These bells are your transportation points, so it's important to unlock any you see so you can travel back to that point using the world map. Of course, after this, bells will appear even in places you visited previously in Act 1. This makes backtracking a breeze, as several party member quests will take you to places in town that were previously blocked. That pretty much summarizes all the major work done on Act 2, without going too deep into spoiler territory, of course. In the next video, we'll be discussing the development of Act 3 and all the features that were added to the game during that time. If you liked this video, leave us a like, post a comment, or subscribe to see more HorrorVale content in the future. Thank you for watching this progress video for HorrorVale Act 2.